people would be like, what in the hell? And that's what happens to a lot of these characters.
At least Batman and most of the DC and Marvel universes are just like rebooted so much that like,
that's true. Yeah, you're right. Midoriya, especially like Deku Midoriya is like not ever gonna be.
Spider-Man especially has like some awful incarnations that are just pathetic.
Yeah.
I was reading some chapters of, because like everyone was just making fun of it, of like just I don't even know if I want to get into it.
It's the newest Spider-Man and his love interest being.
Like they're on like it's like an on and off relationship of like him not wanting to commit because he has to be Spider-Man. And, like when that happens, like she goes with another guy for a while, and it's like it just when they have these love triangles with like two dudes, it's just so uncomfortable and it's so unsatisfying. And then there's a story arc where like Spider-Man gets transported like 10 or 20 years into the future, and like obviously like the girl and the love interest like marry and have kids, but then they want to have like Peter, or I guess it's Peter, like try to like recoup that relationship, and it's like, dude, like she married the guy and had kids. It's over. It's
Joker,
so,
dude.
And it feels like it's like an author like self-insert thing, being like, yeah, I'm better than Spider-Man. It's just like I don't know. It's so weird.
Yeah, this
and off-putting.
This character that is gonna marry Mary Jane is named Brentzer Sprossman,
like,
and he rules. He's 6'8", and he's a Giga Chad.
Like, relationships going bad in real life are already awful and like anxiety-inducing. Why do I want to read about it?
The only love triangle in media that is acceptable is Archie, Betty, and Veronica. It's the only one.
And even that, I just wish Archie would like just pick one. It's just like, stop being such a wuss and pick one. Obviously, Veronica's better. Pick Veronica.
What? No, it's Betty. Veronica is a spoiled brat. Betty is the wholesome girl.
Veronica has a hidden heart of gold. You just have to break her spoiled rich girl attitude.
When? Name one.
Okay, I will admit, I just think Veronica's better because she's hotter. I'm just making up headcanon.
I know. But like, you know that meme, name 3 times. It's like, in 80 years of Archie, I mean, she's not like deplorable, but she's like a spoiled brat. You know what I mean? It's like... Plus, then you have to deal with Mr. Lodge, like, as your father-in-law, just being like, Archie, like, everything you do. My God. Betty's
I don't know why, but I watched a really long video of the retrospective of that Riverdale show. And
that show was actually pretty good.
It's good for the first couple seasons.
I didn't watch it.
Becomes like unimaginable slop in the second half.
Cool.
And especially the second half is so funny. I've never watched that show, but like...
We watched the first couple seasons. It was actually pretty enjoyable. I thought I was going to hate it, because I love Archie.
It just goes crazy by the end.
I like how, if I recall, they make Jughead into, like, a cool guy, and I was like, I don't know about this. But it ended up working pretty good.
So we're on the planet Phase. The gimmick of this is that we're permanently in hyper mode, which makes the Nova Beam that we just got pretty worthless. Again, why do they even bother having...
Yes.
But this is a cool planet. This is like the origin of all Phazon. And they kind of like show that it's sort of like a sentient hive mind sort of thing. And of course Dark Samus is like kind of the brains of it now, because Samus is so epic.
So I'm super biased here, but I think Jughead Jones is like a top 25 character of all time. I love characters where they're like one joke characters, but somehow it just works over and over again. Other examples include Hank Hill. His whole thing for, 200 episodes is, I'm normal, no one else is normal. And it's perfect. Doug Heffernan, Doug from King of Queens, Kevin James, his whole thing is, I'm fat. It's really funny for, 200 episodes. Let me add, I'm fat and stupid. And it's really funny. Even Peter Griffin, although they've made him, more, ridiculous over the course of the years, but Peter Griffin, I am lay, dumb family guy.
I like Peter when he had some semblance of a heart, and it wasn't just like a
well, it's the same
psychopath.
It's the same with Homer, before Homer was like just an idiot. When he was like a well-meaning idiot, it was like, okay, yeah, this is better. But I'm telling you, characters that are just like one-note characters that somehow it works. Like Jughead Jones in the comics is Jughead hates girls, and yet girls keep being interested in him, and he's like, lay why, and he just wants to eat.
Yeah,
it's
you have
just
to have,
hilarious.
You have to have the character be likable and have a good cast around him. But
absolutely.
if you can do that,
oh
and
yeah,
have
yeah,
like a good
yeah. You
joke.
couldn't be like, here's a 2-hour Jughead movie with just Jughead. That would be awful. But like having Big Ethel being like, I am deeply, madly in love with you, and he's like, who are you again? It's so funny. Yeah, and that's right. I mean, Doug from King of Queens, the fact that his wife is like a loud, opinionated New Jersey Italian woman is perfect. Because he's like, hey, I'm really dumb and fat and stupid. And his wife's like, hey, Doug, you're dumb and fat and stupid. You're like, 10 out of 10. This is perfect. I even like, I wouldn't watch it a lot, but like, even Sheldon from Big Bang Theory, I know that they like really made the show stupid by the end. But like, just the simple fact that he was like, I'm a nerd. It's like, somehow it worked for like 100 freaking episodes. Or another good example, until they completely ruined it, was Charlie Sheen from 2.5 Men. It is like mind rot the show, but his whole thing is, I'm lazy and a womanizer, and they got 200 something episodes. Did you ever watch the story about like Charlie being like written off the show and like everything that happened with that? It's fascinating.
Isn't it because like he's an awful human?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Do you remember that winning thing from like 10 years ago?
Yeah.
It was that, and he would get into like public spats with Chuck Lorre, the guy who created that. By the way, Chuck Lorre created 2.5 Men and Big Bang Theory. Do you think that guy is literally a billionaire? Like, holy crap.
Who's richer, him or Larry David?
Oh my god. Well, probably still Larry David. Just because Seinfeld and syndication is ridiculous. Anyway, what was I saying? So there was this whole huge spat, and then they brought in Ashton Kutcher, and it did not work very well. So there was this whole, oh man, you gotta look this, it's so great. There was this like 30-minute video about like, they wanted to bring Charlie back after all the years. Chuck Lorre was like, we'll bring him back for the final episode. Well, it'll be a great like send-off or whatever. And it ended up being such a cluster where Charlie was being, in real life, was being such a jerk about it. Was like, Chuck was like, I put my hand out, let's shake on it, let's end this good. And Charlie was like, sure. And then at the last minute made like all these crazy demands and all this nonsense and didn't show up. And when he showed up, he was awful and all this stuff. So then the very last seed of the show, Alan, Charlie's brother, opens, Alan goes inside, and then you see someone who's clearly not Charlie, but like dressed up like Charlie from the back, go to the door and ring the doorbell like he's coming home from whatever BS reason they wrote him out on. And a piano falls on him. And then I'm not kidding here. It pans out to the studio, and the creator Chuck Lorre sitting in his chair, and I forget, he says something like, "That's all, folks," or something like that. That's the end of that show. Because they literally couldn't get Charlie on for one freaking scene on the final episode.
That's awesome.
And like, it's clearly not him, but Charlie. But he's standing there waiting for Alan to open the door, and all of a sudden this 50,000-pound piano lands on him, and they're like, "Oh no, Charlie's dead."
Oh
well,
no.
And I'm not giving it justice for how awful it was.
I always like when characters have to be written off because they're like awful subhumans in real life.
Yep. That happened to essentially most of the characters from That 70s Show. Although sometimes, like, a character, like, the main guy from That 70s Show... Are those
guys bad people in real life?
Hyde, the guy with the curly hair, is in prison for, like, 40 years because of SA-related reasons. So...
Yes. It's probably bad.
blank assault. Yeah. And, yeah. And Ashton Kutcher was dating his future wife, who he's with now, Mila Kunis, you know, the one girl on the show, when she was like 14 and he was like 18 or 19 or something in real life.
Not cool, dude.
And Eric's sister was like a huge drug addict. I don't know why I know all this stuff. But the main character, Eric, he left the show after like 7 seasons because he's like, I just don't want to do it anymore. And they made his character like off screen to be like the biggest jerk of all time. Like, he wasn't even on the show, and they would like have his character send in like letters and be like, hey Donna, I moved to Africa to be a missionary. I break up with you. Lol, I never loved you, and stuff like that, because they were that butthurt about him like not appearing back on the show. And it's like, holy crap. I know it's just a character in a show, but it's like, imagine being that butthurt as a creator to be like, yeah, we're just gonna destroy this character.
I mean, if he didn't do anything wrong other than I don't want to be back on the show,
I'm pretty sure that was it.
That's so petty.
Yeah. And just, they would like have all these scenes. It was like Poochie, where every character had to be like, where's Poochie? Where they're like, oh, how's Eric doing? It's like, oh, Eric found true love in Africa, and Donna, lol, get wrecked, and he's never coming back now. Get good, kid. And it's like, oh my god, dude. I would be mad if I wasn't a jerk and was just like, I'm sorry, but 7 seasons is enough. I'm good. I want to do other stuff. I want to be Venom.
Yeah, that's like
I want to be Venom in Spider-Man 3 by Sam Raimi.
It's like The Office, like that obviously the most popular character, the boss. I forget his name.
Michael Scott.
Michael Scott. He just being like, I don't want to do this anymore. But like, imagine if they're just like, yeah, Michael Scott went to prison because he assaulted a woman. It's like, cool.
Yeah, very cool. Talk about a way for Office fans to hate even more the newer seasons. Which, by the way, Office fans, I know we're really deep in the video, so no one's going to comment on this, but Robert California, the boss that was brought in as real-life actor James Spader, is based. He was awesome. I know he wasn't meant to be on for the whole time, but everyone's like, Robert California, the worst character ever. You don't understand James Spader. Will Ferrell was the worst character ever. When they brought Will Ferrell in for like 2 or 3 episodes, I have never seen a person on a popular show phone it in as much as Will Ferrell did. He sucked. I don't know what was in his butt for that. I don't know why he acted like... Well, he didn't act. I don't know why he was just so boring. But he was awful. I'll give you that.
Can this end? I know this is supposed to like waste time, so... Okay, thank you. Ask and you will receive.
Our cousin Ben loves The Office, and last I talked to him a couple years ago, he watched the show through like easily over 5 or 6, maybe 10 times, and he'll go to like the final season and just not watch the final season and just restart it. And I'm like, you know, it's kind of probably smart. Although in The Office they did bring Michael Scott back for the final episode, and they did not have him say any lines. Which was like pretty, like, I kind of liked it. Like, he like had a talk with like Dwight, like off script, like you could see him like far in the back, but he wasn't mic'd up, and I'm like, that's cool.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Is this the final boss?
Yeah, this is there's 3 forms to this, but it's basically all Dark Samus.
I was gonna say, because this is going down very fast, so there's no way there's not multiple forms.
Yeah, there's even multiple phases per multiple.
Oh my god, he's the Emperor from House of the Dead 2. He did the thing.
But yeah, this fight is the easiest fight in the series. But it's way better than Metroid Prime 1, which is like a terrible fight.
Now, do you automatically get the extra ending, and does it replace the original?
It doesn't replace anything.
It just adds?
Yeah.
Okay. Dark Sammy!
Yeah, this phase, she fuses. You can kind of see the after images, but as long as you know to use the X-ray, there's not much to this.
No, I'm guessing you would die if that yellow bar gets the whole way up.
Yeah, but you have to be really, really bad.
I mean, your bar hasn't gone anywhere higher than like 1/50th so far, so. Whee! Give me that phase 2. Ugh. Is this one of those Elder Gods?
I think this is one of the Leviathan units. I guess it was corrupted. I'm not 100%. I think his name is like unit, like some number, so it has to be one of those Leviathans.
Hmm.
I don't know much about what's happening right now.
Aurora unit. Sounds good. Oh no! Do you have to do the whole pulley waggle thing?
No, thankfully, we do have to do a pulley waggle thing to open up the like plate, like right now. Yeah, but that's it. There's no annoying pulley waggle thing. Oh yeah, I went to insert a energy tank. I was like, oh yeah, you don't have to do that anymore.
I do like how he gets up and he's like, "Oh, don't shoot my exposed brain." No, you shot my exposed brain.
Yeah, I'm not sure if having more E-tanks increases like your bar.
I was actually
going to
ask that
because it says that it ejects your E-tank or all your E-tanks at the beginning of this. So I'm not sure if like it matters if you have everything or not. But if it doesn't matter, it makes like getting 100% completion even more worthless. Other than the 5-second cutscene at the very end for getting it.
Gib. Classic rule of 3 Nintendo stuff.
Yeah, it really doesn't seem like you can do 2, even if you're like God. But maybe.
Let's check the speed run. That's pretty. I mean, definitely does not seem difficult.
It's not hard, but
pretty cool though.
I'd rather it be easy than annoying.
Yeah.
I've cried about the Metroid Prime 1 final boss fight against the Metroid Prime enough, but that fight is like the most monotonous thing in the world. The Metroid Prime will just like turn different colors, and then you have to attack it with that specific color, your beam, and then all that happens is that it digs another hole, and then you repeat the phase again. It's so boring.
No. Don't do it. Don't shoot him. Hey, it didn't do the morph ball thing for 30 seconds.
No. No! Give me more than 1 second of time. I guess I shouldn't do a charge shot. It doesn't seem to do that much damage.
Yeah, two cycle would be.
It doesn't seem possible.
Hey, it looks like a mother brain.
Lock-on, can you work? That's definitely my biggest complaint with this game. Like, lock-on will randomly just, like, not work right. Like, why did I lose lock-on there? It doesn't make any sense.
Not the huge pink spot.
Yeah, this one, if you're good, there's no like cycle to this. You just win. Why did I lose my lock on?
Whoa. It's going crazy. It's losing its mind.
Okay. Should be over. Spamming A. Okay. Such an easy final boss.
Time.
And time, 7 weeks. I think it was 7 sit-downs.
No, we did multiple. I think we did it like multiple times, so it's probably like 3
right.
weeks.
Yeah, probably 3-4 weeks.
You gotta check the speedrun leaderboards. That's gotta be right up there. segmented leaderboards. Whee!
So very conveniently, Dark Samus is basically the head of Phase now, and the defeated Dark Samus like ends Phazon entirely. So the corruption inside of Samus just disappears. Convenient.
Oh. Those shoulder pads are pretty cool.
They're cool. They're the that space pirate like I think it's called Hazard Shield.
Ruh-roh.
I think those are... Yeah, they look like corrupted ships, because they have, like, a bunch of Phazon.
We have confirmed unstable energy spikes in multiple locations on the planet. It's a chain reaction. It's accelerating.
I'm voice acting.
The planets.
To disengage and prepare to retreat. Activate the Leviathan's warp field. Get us out of here.
This guy sounds like he wants to be the guy from Full Metal Jacket. Get us out of here, soldier!
Yeah, it's like the most, like, stereotypical. It also really reminds me of the sergeant from Halo.
Oh, yeah, but that guy,
is really cool.
that guy's based, yeah. I forget his name.
Sergeant Johnson, I don't know.
It literally might be Johnson.
It might be Johnson.
Literally might be Johnson. We're not big Halo fans, sorry people. I played Halo 1 and 2. Do I get an award?
Kaboosh.
Actually, I would be too qualified to work at 343. The fact that I played Halo 1 and 2 in passing 20 years ago.
The only way to get hired at... it's not 343.
It's Halo Studios.
Halo Studios. But yeah, the only way to get hired at Halo Studios is to submit an application. I hate Halo. I hate it.
Damage reports coming in. We've lost 30.
Why do you think you should work at Halo Studios? I played Halo Combat Evolved, like, when it came out 20 years ago. It was alright.
Instantly trash binned.
No!
I love Halo. You know how, like, they field resumes now with, like, automated systems of, like, checking for keywords?
God, I hate it so much.
It's so soulless, but I bet Halo Studios, they flag the words, I love Halo. If you write that, you're instantly, like, trash binned. Oh, look, Samus instantly got rid of her PD suit, so now she is back to stage 1 for Prime 4.
I don't get it, because, like, it's HR's job, it's their entire job to just read resumes and be like, hey, this is a good one. And they're like,
nope. Nah,
we need AI to do this, man. Like, I don't know. I need to take an early lunch. Is this the,
I think there's 2 extra endings. This is super pre-rendered, so this might be the secret ending. Oh, this is kind of funny because it's like reminiscing about these non-characters who we killed. It's like, remember these guys? They were my friend.
There's no way anyone remembers them.
I don't remember.
So they barely did anything.
I don't even remember. I think this guy's name is Goat because it's funny. But all you're remembering is how they, like, effed your S up the entire game. It's like, yep, those are my friends. Look at me. It's like they have so little to work with. Like, they're in the same room for, like, one
Were any
scene.
of them, like, humans? Or were they all, like...
I don't think any of them were humans.
Yeah.
Goat is just, like, a robot. The ice guy, I don't even know what he is. Some ice guy.
I like how most of the Federation is humans, and so is Samus, and there's like no other humans anywhere. I mean, that doesn't really matter. It's kind of like the same with like Star Wars and all that, but
Yeah.
it's pretty interesting.
Oh wait, no, that's not the secret ending. I think that's So there was a thing that we did right before we got the Space Pirate Code, where you enter a digit you find on a data pad to get the secret message, and I think that's the prerequisite for seeing that cutscene. And then the secret ending is after this. Which
Okay.
I don't know if we. I don't.
You can't skip.
Yeah, so we're gonna have to talk over this.
Let's do the thing that everyone does when they're talking over those, and just say the names of them.
Scott Carpenter.
Brandon Salinas, huh? Yep.
That's a funny name.
I will say, seeing mostly English names, at least so far, for a Japanese-made game is kind of interesting. Although, literally, Elbin is a pretty cool name. What are you doing? What are you doing right now,
dude? I thought
Elbin
that said.
Schaefer's?
I thought that said Chuck Christ for a second. That would have been awesome. Chuck Christ.
See, we're doing it. We're doing it. We're literally just saying the name.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm looking forward to Prime 4. I hope they learn from the mistakes of this game. But it's also interesting because it's been so long now. Prime 3 came out in 2007, and Prime 4 at the soonest is coming out this year, 18 years later. And
Wait, is it confirmed?
No, that's why I'm saying at the soonest is coming out this year.
Oh, I'm sorry. My bad.
But the interesting thing is that, like, studios change so much. Like, 18 years for a studio, like, there might be, like, 10% of the, like, staff that worked on, like, this game, let alone Prime 1. It might be, like, 1%. So it's interesting when, like, the little snippet that they showed, they barely showed anything, but it looks fine. But I hope that... And...
However, in the vast regions of space, this victory is just a twinkle of a star, spreading the light of hope through the darkness.
Okay.
Cool.
It's so random.
I don't think that was Samus. I think that was just...
It was either... I think it was one of those Aurora unit things.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Prime 1 Remaster was really good. Like, Prime 1, it's funny, because Prime 1 Remaster is
Wait,
40...
Troy Baker's a voice actor in this?
I bet it was the sergeant guy, the Admiral Dane.
Huh.
I bet that's...
He's like one of the biggest names in voice acting.
Yeah, because he's the only, like, recognizable voice actor.
Right,
I bet that's why they got him. What was I saying? Oh yeah, Prime 1 Remaster is funny because it's the cheapest remaster on the Switch, but it's the best one. It makes Donkey Kong Country Returns look pathetic in comparison, and that one's a $60 remaster.
Isn't it kind of weird how they came out with the Metroid one for $40, which is like very kind for Nintendo?
I think that
and every other one, Paper Mario $60, Donkey Kong $60.
I think it's one of two things. I think maybe Retro had some leverage, but I think that's pretty weak. I don't think they necessarily like can say like, hey, Nintendo charge $40 for this and not $60. But I think they really wanted to do it because they wanted to get people into the series, because although the Prime series is really beloved by Nintendo fans, it has historically sold very poorly.
Right.
Like, none of the games are a flop. Like, Metroid Prime 2 is definitely the weakest selling because it was a later GameCube release, but that still shipped like 1 million units. But when you consider like how quality these games are and how much like they probably put into them, like, these games don't seem cheap at all. So I bet like 1 million sales on the GameCube for Prime 2 was like, they probably made a profit, but not much. But I think they really wanted to do $40 to be like, get people into the series. It was a shadow drop when they did it, like right after a direct. Which
Hey,
was,
Reggie.
Ooh. So I think they wanted to like just expand the very small user base that played the first 3 games.
Makes sense. That is a great way to do it.
And I think all the other remasters being like $60 and like bare minimum recently is just like Nintendo trying to leverage as much money as possible as the Switch is on its way out.
Alright, here we go. This is what we've all been waiting for.
It is so disappointing.
My God.
100%. I did that on screen. Hyper mode difficulty.
No, thank you.
Nope. I don't even know how hard it could be because when you're in hyper mode, you're literally invulnerable. Alright, here we go.
My God, she's walking.
Oh, baby. Of course, the piano.
They knew what they were doing. Wink. Oh! They could have done it.
They should have done a wink.
Nintendo, please. Do you still have time for her to wink? Wait, why would she take her suit off before flying into space? That makes no sense. Also, that
totally not fan service.
Also,
here's the secret ending. This mysterious ship.
That planet that she was on was oxygen soluble. That like she could breathe it. That's it.
That's the most like Star Wars thing in the world. That's it. That is it. That's why you spend 8 hours to get 100%.
They didn't wink. Like it's so easy. They worked it out where for her to just wink at the camera and then go, "Come on."
I'd be astonished if Prime 4 has anything to do with that one ship. There's no way that they're gonna like do anything with that.
Do we know? And besides that, seeing that for one, we have no idea what that ship is following her.
No, it's just some blue ship.
Now, I didn't know if it was like, oh, remember that ship from Metroid Prime 1 or whatever?
The only thing we really know is that Phazon is over, unless they bring it back, but you literally go to Phase and destroy it, so it's probably over. So Prime 4 is like the start of a new, like,
I mean, I will say, that story being fairly bare bones, it wasn't like, this is the end of Metroid Prime. Phazon was over, but it didn't seem like one of those things where they're like, where could they go from here? Like, yeah, you start a new story, but
it's interesting because all the Prime games have to do with Phazon.
Yeah, that's true.
So they're gonna have to do something else. But I mean, it's Metroid. They can just, I don't know. The main like Sakamoto games kind of just revolve around the Metroids and then later the X, and then the Chozo. So I don't know. I hope that Prime 4 does something like new. But also, like, Samus's, like, upbringing is so specific of being, like, half Chozo, half human. Well, she's full human, but has Chozo DNA.
Right.
I don't know. We'll have to see. They barely showed anything. Like, Prime 4 has, like, some sort of Space Wars happening. It's, like, I don't want to say generic, but, like, there's nothing to go off of. Anyway, I probably won't do a Prime 4 playthrough unless it's like God tier, so I hope you lads have fun when it comes out in 2027.
If they don't have Samus wink at the camera, if you get 100% in Prime 4, we all return our Switch 2s, okay? Okay.
The one thing I'm kind of worried about for Prime 4 is that it's probably going to be a simul release between Switch 1 and 2, and it's not necessarily a bad thing, but it really will impact the scope of the game. I can understand why they're making it for Switch 1 because they like announced it in 2017. If they didn't release it for Switch 1, people would be like mad. But I kind of wish it was just a Switch 2 exclusive, so it had like a bigger scope and like bigger areas. But we'll see what happens. Prime 1 remaster on Switch is like literal black magic. How well it looks and how well it runs. So I don't know. Maybe they'll just do the classic retro black magic where they like just completely BTFO any Nintendo studio somehow.